Hi foodies and friends, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to try and do a nice simple easy recipe for you to follow. You don't need that many ingredients, but let's see if we can make it really tasty. So the first thing I'm going to be using is fragrant jasmine rice. Now this is, I'm new, and I got this from Aldi's and it was just under €1. So I'm going to be using some of that. I'm also going to be using this Mayflower spice bag mix, which I also got in Aldi's, and that was $1.50 something. I'm also going to be using some frozen vegetables and of course a pork chop. So I'm going to be, we might use a little bit of MSG too. So the first thing I'm going to do is put my rice on, let it cook, and then put my chop in the air fryer. I'm going to season it first. I'm going to put a little bit of MSG on it and some pepper. Now I've got my rice cooked, so now the next bit is I'm going to use some mirin. So we'll use a splash of that. We'll get this on. And into that we're going to add a pork chop that I just sliced. Just into bite-sized pieces. And in there I'm going to add some white pepper, a pinch of MSG, just so that the flavours that you do put in it pop. You don't have to put MSG in it, just put salt in. And we're just going to let that cook. Let it change its colour before we add the seasonings and the vegetables, because the vegetables won't take long, they're frozen vegetables. So what we're looking for on this pork is some nice colour before we add the rest of the ingredients in. Now I did get these chopped. I got 4 in the packet for, I think it was €3, wasn't much more. And you could split this in two if you wished to, because the rice will be filling. Or you can use it as just the one meal. So we'll let that just cook down a little bit. Let some of that nice fat from the edges render down a little bit. We want some really nice colour on that. Again, this is my own recipe. I haven't done this before. It's just something I came up with, an idea. Sometimes I just look at my ingredients and think, what can I do out of that? And sometimes it turns out nice, sometimes it doesn't. So we're just going to let that cook for a few more minutes. Not for much longer because I don't want it to burn. But I do want some nice colour on that. Now this one will be a kind of like a dry dish, but it will have a lot of flavour. Now the original idea I got the spice bag mix for was I was going to make an Irish spice bag. If you want to see me do that, leave it in the comments. And I'll show you what our Irish spice bag is. I've never had an Irish spice bag, I've never done one, but I know what one is. So we get a little bit more colour on that. You're kind of doing it like a stir fry. I'm just doing it in my pan rather than my wok. Now I'm going to add my vegetables in. And as I said, this is just a mixed veg. So it's roughly not quite half a bag. You're not going to need water because you've got the water from the vegetables. Obviously because it's been frozen and because vegetables naturally hold water anyway. So into that I'm now going to put my spice mix in, and I'm going to add roughly a tablespoon. Now you might think that's a bit much, you can put as little or as much as you want in. I'm going to put that much in because this will be mixed with the rice and you want that flavour to pop with the rice. So again, we're just continuing to let this cook. And as you can see, there is some juice there. So it won't be completely dry, but that juice will be took up by your cooked rice. So I'm going to turn this up a little bit. So now I have it on 1000 watts. I think it's 1000 watts, it's whatever 1000 is. And we're going to let that just cook through. And let the vegetables defrost and soften. So when we come to the next bit, I'll bring you back. Now that's been cooking for a few minutes and this spice smells absolutely delicious. Smells really nice and fragrant. So into that, we're going to add the rice back into there. We'll let that all flavour the rice. And if you don't think there's enough flavour, you can always add some more. Which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add another little bit. I'm going to add another half teaspoon just to flavour the rice up a bit more. And I'm going to dish this out and we'll do the taste test. Now as you can see, I've already dished myself a portion out. And I still have leftovers left, so I'm going to freeze that for another day. But that could do 2 more people, so you'd have 3, maybe 4 if you have something else with that. So that's a simple, tasty dish. As I said, it costs what, about 50-60 cents all in all total. So we're going to give this a taste test. I have some pork, some of the vegetables and some rice. That is delicious. There's a right enough spice there. It's flavoured everything. The rice, the meat, the vegetables. Definitely want to try it. Now if you don't have the spice bag mix, I would suggest using turmeric, chili powder, paprika and chili flakes. That's not going to be everything's in this because it doesn't tell you what spices are in this, apart from the chili, onion powder and garlic powder. But it doesn't tell you what other seasonings in. But I definitely can taste the chili powder. Chili flakes, as you can see, there is chili flakes in there. Definitely tasting turmeric. So, as I said, you can use as much or as little as you want. I ended up using 1 tablespoon and then teaspoon. So if you like the content, please give it a like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Sorry about the Sunday live, I didn't realise it was Father's Day. My brain's elsewhere. There will be a live Sunday coming. Open panel, so if you want to be in the open panel, leave that in the comment box and I'll see what I can do. So until the next video, happy eating, thanks for watching, goodbye.